Before the world knew their names, before the stadiums roared and the cameras flashed, they were just three boys chasing a ball across dusty streets, driven by nothing but passion and a dream too big for their small surroundings. There were no contracts, no trophies, no pressure from millions watching. Just laughter, scraped knees, and the sound of a ball bouncing endlessly as the sun dipped below the horizon. Cristiano, Lionel, and Neymar came from different corners of the world, yet their stories began the same way: humble beginnings, endless determination, and a love for football that refused to fade even when life made things difficult. Each of them had their own struggles. Cristiano grew up in a small home where every opportunity felt like a fight. Lionel battled challenges that could have ended his journey before it even began. Neymar played in streets where dreams often disappeared as quickly as they were born. But for all three, football wasn't just a game, it was a way out, a purpose, a promise to themselves and their families. As boys, they imagined moments the world would later witness: scoring goals in packed stadiums, lifting trophies, hearing their names chanted by thousands. But there was one dream they shared in silence, a simple promise whispered between kicks of the ball: one day, they would play together, not as rivals, not as global superstars, but as friends who never forgot where they came from. Time moved on, as it always does. The streets they once played on became memories, replaced by training grounds, world-class stadiums, and a life few could truly understand. Their paths crossed many times, but never in the way they had imagined as children. Instead of playing together, they became competitors, pushing each other to greater heights, defining an era of football that would be remembered forever. Cristiano became a symbol of discipline and relentless ambition, turning hard work into an art form. Lionel became magic itself, gliding across the pitch in ways that seemed almost unreal. Neymar brought flair, creativity, and joy, reminding the world that football could still feel like a game, even at its highest level. Together, yet apart, they shaped the sport in ways no one had ever seen before. But even legends carry memories of who they used to be. One quiet night, after years of glory, records, and unforgettable moments, something unexpected happened. A message arrived, simple, mysterious, and impossible to ignore. It didn't come from a club, a sponsor, or a media outlet. It carried no logo, no explanation, just a location and a time. A place that felt strangely familiar. Curiosity turned into something deeper. Nostalgia. A pull toward something unfinished. One by one, they made their way to the location. No entourages. No headlines. No announcements. Just three individuals stepping away from the noise of the world, returning to something they hadn't felt in years. When they arrived, everything felt smaller than they remembered. The street wasn't as big, the lights weren't as bright, and the ground beneath their feet carried the marks of time. But the feeling was exactly the same. For a moment, none of them spoke. They didn't need to. In that silence, years of competition faded away. There were no comparisons, no debates, no pressure to prove anything. Just three boys again, standing where it all began, holding on to a promise they had never truly forgotten. A single ball lay in the middle of the street. Cristiano stepped forward first, a slight smile forming, not the confident grin the world knew, but something softer, more genuine. Lionel followed, his eyes scanning the surroundings as if searching for fragments of his childhood. Neymar laughed quietly, the kind of laugh that comes when something feels too real to believe. And just like that, the game began. There were no rules. No referees. No scoreboards. Just instinct. The ball moved quickly between them, but this time it wasn't about winning. It wasn't about proving who was better. It was about remembering why they fell in love with football in the first place. Every pass carried a memory. Every touch felt like a connection to the past. Cristiano's power was still there, but it was relaxed, playful. Lionel's dribbling still felt like magic, but now it came with a sense of freedom. Neymar's flair brought laughter, tricks that belonged more to the streets than the grand stages he had dominated. They played like kids again. Time seemed to pause. The world outside that street didn't exist. No fans were watching. No cameras were recording. This wasn't a moment for history books or highlight reels. It was something far more meaningful, a private chapter in their lives, written only for them. As the game went on, something beautiful became clear. This was the match they had always dreamed of, not the ones in sold-out stadiums or under the pressure of trophies and expectations. This was pure, untouched football, the kind that lives in the hearts of those who play for love, not for recognition. At one point, they stopped, breathing heavily, smiling in a way that said everything words could not. They looked at each other, not as rivals, but as brothers connected by a journey only they could understand. The promise had been fulfilled. Not in front of millions. But in a quiet street, under dim lights, where it truly mattered. Eventually, the game slowed. The ball rolled to a stop. The night grew quieter. They knew this moment wouldn't last forever. Life would call them back, to responsibilities, to expectations, to the world that saw them as legends rather than human beings. But something inside them had changed. They had found a piece of themselves again. As they prepared to leave, there were no grand speeches, no dramatic goodbyes. Just a shared understanding that some things don't need to be explained. Some moments are meant to be felt, not described. Cristiano picked up the ball and placed it back where it had been. Lionel glanced around one last time, as if capturing the scene in his memory. Neymar smiled, knowing that this night would stay with them forever. They walked away, one by one, disappearing into the darkness, returning to their lives as global icons. But deep inside, they carried something far more valuable than any trophy. They carried the memory of being just three boys again. And somewhere, in that quiet street, the echo of their laughter remained, a reminder that even the greatest legends were once dreamers, chasing a ball with nothing but hope in their hearts. Because in the end, football isn't just about fame, records, or glory. It's about moments like this. Moments that the world may never see. But the ones who live them, never forget.